Let's make one of my favorite sandwiches, a smoked brisket sandwich. It takes a little bit of work, but at the end you will be rewarded. Right now we're going to remove some of that silver skin and some of that hard fat. All that stuff does not render down, and it can be pretty nasty if you bite into it at the end. You're going to shape up your brisket. You want it nice and uniform and evenly proportioned. That way when it's smoking, the smoke rolls over evenly and builds a nice uniform bark. Using mustard as a binder. The mustard does not add any flavor. This is strictly for binder purposes. And what a binder does, it allows that seasoning to stick to the meat and it helps draw it into the meat for maximum flavor. We're just using salt and pepper, keeping it nice and simple. That pepper is really going to help it build that nice bark that we're looking for. Once we get it seasoned up, we'll make sure you get all sides as well. That is very key here. Once we get it seasoned up, using my meter probe, I'm going to stick it in there so I can control my temperature a little bit better. Hickory wood chunks, and then I like using a water pan. This will help it keep it a little bit moist through the cook. That way it don't dry out on me. 250 degrees. We're going to check in about 2 hours later and start spritzing with apple cider vinegar. Taking a look at it here, we're about 4 hours in. We're looking for a 165 internal temperature. That 165 is a good mark where we can pull this brisket off the smoker and get it on our butcher paper and wrap it up. I'm going to spritz it with some apple cider vinegar, putting that brisket on the butcher paper. We're going to wrap it up. And then once we get it wrapped up, placing it back onto the smoker, and we're going to keep the temperature the same at 250 degrees. You can use aluminum. I really don't like using it because it helps intensify the cook. You know, speeds it up a little bit more. Butcher paper allows it to breathe still and help form a bark. Right there, 2 or 3, we're going to remove it, place it in a cooler, and we're going to let that baby sit for about 2 to 3 hours for resting. While it's resting, I'm going to make my delicious barbecue sauce. You can find this whole recipe on my website. My website is grillnationbbq.com. Right now we're going to sweat down our veggies, adding some tomato sauce or paste, and then some mustard, some ketchup, moving on to the brown sugar, some honey, of course that W sauce, a little chili seasoning, and right there it is. We're going to let that simmer for about 12-15 minutes. Remove that brisket. I always cut it right down the middle because that is the money shot that we're looking for. And just take a look. Perfect smoke ring, juicy and tender. We're going to go ahead and use the point for this. The point has the best flavor in my opinion. Nice even cuts. You want it to be able to hold itself up when you're holding it there and then easily pull apart when you pull on it. It's just the perfect amount of give. Right there, we're going to load it up with that barbecue sauce and the smoked brisket and some more barbecue sauce. And I'm telling you, it's one of the best sandwiches I've ever had. I hope you guys get on that website and enjoy.